Today's video is about Canvas modules. Modules seem like a very big topic, but they're really not too hard. It's really just a way to organize your stuff. For instance, when I was teaching science, I had 4 or 5 major units that we would cover. So maybe ecosystems, force and motion, solar system, electricity. So in my file cabinet, I had a folder that said solar system and everything was in there. Worksheets, study guides, tests, whatever I needed to get through that unit. And so this is just your digital way of organizing all your stuff for a unit. First grade, they might have bats or butterflies or animals, or they might set up a module by what journeys unit they're on, and if they could put everything in there for that unit, any worksheets or videos or graded things that need to be graded, like vocab tests, quizzes, things like that. So it's just a way to organize your stuff and have the kids basically work their way through a learning path. So modules allow instructors to organize content and create a learning path for students. And modules can be used to organize your course content by weeks or units or some other different organizational structure. Each module can contain files, discussions, assignments, quizzes, and other learning materials. Modules can be easily organized using the drag and drop feature, and elements within the modules can also be reorganized by dragging and dropping. So I think if we just jump in and kind of look and see an example of just setting up a module. So we're in our course, we're gonna click on modules, and then we're just gonna hit plus or add module. And you're gonna wanna give it a name. So maybe you are teaching science and you have a whole unit on solar system. And you can hit lock until. So say this is under construction, you don't want the kids to get to it until a certain date or time. You could leave it unpublished, yes. You could also lock it until whatever date you choose and time. Add prerequisites. You can do that if they need to complete a module before they complete this module. If you add nothing will show up basically unless you have 2 or more modules in there already. And you can always go back and add those later. And we're going to go ahead and hit add module. So right now our module is completely blank, has nothing in it. So we're going to come over here, and it's also not published, so no one can see it but us. Hit the plus sign. And this is where you add things to your module. So anything, add an assignment, quiz, file, content page, a discussion, URL, an external tool. There's all kinds of things that you can add inside your module that you want the kids to work through. So let's say we choose the first one, assignment. Then you have options. If this is an assignment you've already made, then you can just find it, click on it, and you're done. If it's an assignment you haven't made, then you just hit new assignment, give the assignment a name. And I always like to do indent level 1 level. It just makes it look nicer. Not something you have to do. Add item. So I've added an assignment. I haven't actually made the assignment. I just added kind of like a placeholder for this assignment. Then I could go in and actually create the assignment. I could put my directions, add a video, PDF, anything I need, and tell the kids their directions and what they need to do and the points and all of that. I'm going to go back to modules. So there's my first thing, seasons. And then I go right back to add and say, okay, after they do that assignment, then I want them to discuss something. So then I can add a discussion, indent it, one level, add the item. So now I have 2 things in my module. And then I just go back and I say, now that we've watched a video and discussed it, now I want to do a quiz and see how they're feeling about that. And it's just a little 5-question quiz, and I would hit new quiz, give it a name, and then start creating my quiz. So you're really just building out the same thing you would do in class each day, or what you would have in your lesson plans or your file cabinet. You're putting it into Canvas. Once you're done, let's say you've built out and you've got like 6, 7, 8 things in here. You can come over here to settings, the 3 little dots, and hit edit. And you can add requirements. So you can decide if the students can move on without completing something. Like the first one says, students must complete all of these requirements and they must move through in sequential order. So then you could choose, okay, I want them to do the seasons, and they need to submit it before they can move on to the discussion, and they need to submit it. So you can go through and be very specific about what you want the kids to do and if they can move on without completing something. So they can be, maybe it's just a video that they have to view and then they can move on, or they have to mark it as done, or they have to actually submit something before they can move on to the next part of the module. And then you just hit update. And right now, if I told the kids, all right, get on and find the solar system module, they wouldn't, because this button right here says publish. And when you publish a module, it publishes everything inside the module. So sometimes if this is unpublished, even though these 2 are published, the kids can't get to it. So we need to make sure that our module is published. Therefore, everything inside the module will be published. And that is really just a basic quick overview of how to set up a module. If you want to see an example of like an e-learning day module that we used, for instance, this is 6th grade. And when you go under settings, I made it so that they had to complete each one of these in a certain order and do a certain thing before they could move on to the next one. So they had the welcome page, and then they moved on to the attendance, and then they had to do their math before they could do their reading and then writing. And then they came to their completion page, and they knew they were done for the day. So using a module for e-learning day, it's a great thing because it keeps them very organized. They know where to start. They know where to finish. And that is pretty much it for modules. Thank you.